You know, if you're spending hours, literally hours, trying to perfect your footwork or just lock in that timing, but you feel like your progress is completely stalled out, I have a pretty crucial question for you. Are you practicing on the wrong dance floor? There's this massive misconception out there, especially in a vibrant city like Chicago, that all dance floors offer the exact same learning conditions for beginners and intermediate dancers. We tend to think, hey, as long as there's music playing and people moving, it's a good place to level up, right? But actually, the truth is, the physical and social environment you choose completely dictates how fast and, honestly, how well you actually learn.
So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're breaking down a really fantastic resource from Vladislav Knight titled Best Dance Floors in Chicago for Practice and Social Dancing. I absolutely love this topic because it takes our mindset from just blindly going out to the clubs and shifts it towards strategically selecting the perfect venue to match our specific goals. We're going to map out exactly how to choose your practice spaces so you can stop fighting the room and start building some real noticeable momentum in your dancing.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the anatomy of a great floor, look at 3 specific types of dance venues, figure out how to match your floor to your goal, and finally, how to maximize your practice. Let's dive in.
Part 1. Anatomy of a great floor. This is all about establishing the baseline for your progress.
Before we even think about specific neighborhoods or spots in Chicago, we really need to understand the absolute foundations of a practice-friendly environment. I mean, Chicago is a city that literally lives on rhythm, for sure. But not every venue gives dancers the right conditions to build real momentum. Just going out dancing is not going to cut it if you want to see consistent improvement. If you're out there constantly bumping into elbows, or if the DJ is erratically jumping between tempos every 30 seconds, well, you're just stuck in survival mode. You aren't practicing your technique, you're just reacting to chaos. To actually refine your basics, you absolutely need a baseline of predictability. And that predictability really comes down to 4 essential traits that separate a chaotic room from a highly productive learning space. First, you need reliable music to lock in your timing. Second, you absolutely must have sufficient floor space. You shouldn't be modifying your steps just to avoid a collision. Third, a clear sense of community is super vital because you want to feel safe making mistakes. And finally, having staff and regulars who actually understand how dancers learn, that changes the entire dynamic of the room. When the people around you respect the learning process, you get the grace and the physical space to actually try new things.
Moving on to Part 2, 3 types of dance venues. Think of this as a quick tour of Chicago's dance environments.
All right, now that we know what makes a floor great, let's categorize what you're actually going to encounter out in the city. You essentially have a menu of 3 main options here: dedicated halls, community studios, and live music venues. Notice how completely different a studio's primary benefit, which is structured improvement, contrasts with a live music venue's focus on adaptability and reaction. You really can't expect the vibe of a focused, quiet workshop when there's a live salsa band playing to a packed house at midnight, right? Understanding these distinct categories is literally the secret to never walking into a venue with the wrong expectations again.
Let's look a little closer at dedicated halls. These venues host recurring events, often weekly, which is a massive advantage for us. You get good flooring, visible sightlines, and crucial room to turn without constant crowding. The consistency of these spacious halls helps you learn new patterns without overthinking your environment. Because it's a dedicated dance night, the crowd actually understands floorcraft. You can gauge the pace of the room, find a nice little pocket of space, and drill that complicated turn sequence you learned on Tuesday without worrying about spilling someone's drink. Next up, we have community studios. If your goal is structured improvement, this is absolutely your sweet spot. These are drop-in friendly environments that usually kick off with a group class and then transition pretty seamlessly into a social format. What makes studios so brilliant is that they drastically reduce the intimidation factor for first-timers while still attracting deeply committed dancers. The built-in partner rotation is a real game changer. It means you don't have to stress about asking strangers to dance, it's practically done for you. It's honestly the perfect bridge between a formal lesson and the wildness of a real club.
And then we step into the live music venues. This is where you go to test what you've learned out in the real world. The atmosphere here is just electric. But with varied tempos from a live band or a dynamic DJ, it demands faster reaction times, incredibly sharp distance management, and much stronger lead and follow skills. You aren't really practicing isolated patterns here, you are practicing adaptability on the fly. When the crowd is hyped and the music is unpredictable, your muscle memory has to take over. It's challenging for sure, but it is undeniably where your social dancing truly comes to life.
All right, part 3, match your floor and goal. This is all about aligning your environment with your objective. So we've talked about where to dance, but why must you match the venue to your goal? Well, because different goals demand completely different physical and social spaces. If you're drilling technique, you must prioritize nights with a clear event structure and actual physical floor space. You cannot drill a traveling sequence in a packed live music venue. You just need a dedicated hall for that. On the flip side, if your goal is simply building confidence and getting over social anxiety, heading to a quiet hall where you know absolutely no one might be pretty intimidating. Instead, you'd want to prioritize a community studio with frequent partner rotation and a highly welcoming, beginner-friendly crowd. It's all about strategic alignment.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 4, Maximizing Your Dance Practice. Turning strategy into action. Okay, you know the venues and you know your goals, so let's build an actionable checklist for the exact moment you walk into a new space. First things first, check the surface. Is it smooth enough for your footwork and turns without straining your knees? Second, evaluate the space. Is there room to actually practice, or are you just going to be stepping around people all night? Third, listen to the music programming. Is the DJ giving you varied tempos to train your musicality and pacing? And lastly, assess the community vibe. Is it welcoming enough to make you want to come back? If a venue checks these boxes for your specific goal, you've hit a gold mine.
Now, once the room passes the test, here is your procedure for the night. Step 1, arrive with a short, specific micro goal. Don't just say, oh, I want to get better. Say, tonight, I am only focusing on keeping my posture upright, or I'm going to execute this one specific turn sequence perfectly. Step 2, read the crowd and the music playing. Just take a breath and observe the flow of the room. Step 3, adjust your practice dynamically. If the room suddenly gets super crowded, maybe you drop the traveling turns and focus purely on your musicality in a tight spot. This simple framework really empowers you to take absolute control of your night out.
I want to highlight this quote directly from the source material because it perfectly captures the heart of this entire explainer. With the right venue, practice becomes social instead of solitary. When you're strategic about where you go, you aren't isolating yourself in a dark corner trying to fix your footwork. You're integrating your learning directly into the joy of the dance community. Your progress happens naturally because you've aligned your environment with your ambitions. It just makes sense, right?
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought and challenge. What micro goal will you bring to the dance floor this weekend? Are you going to focus on timing, distance management, or maybe just having the confidence to ask someone new for a dance? Whatever it is, use this framework, pick the right venue, and watch your progress absolutely skyrocket. Keep practicing, keep analyzing your environment, and most importantly, keep dancing.